We're down to our last speaker, Steve Smith. Steve, so you're with us.
I will try to keep this very brief because I know we're over time and we've had a lot of people go very, very long today. Senator Jackson, at the last hearing, you asked a few different times, how would this affect the quality of education? How would it affect the teaching? I've had multiple teachers and administrators reach out to me and say that because of the current way the board is run, they feel they can't speak up about conditions in their job that they feel aren't in the best interest of the kids due to reprisal or possible discipline from the administration. When you have a highly partisan board that then installs a superintendent of their choice, as is their right, being elected at the time, but when you see the political side of a change, the minority party always feels abused. No different than the Democrats for years in Gwinnett when it was majority Republicans saying they didn't feel represented. Whoever is not in power will always not feel represented. They will always feel their voice is not being heard. I have heard people in this room repeatedly infer that the entire reason this is being done is that the power seat is now with the majority black community. That's disgusting. That is disingenuous. If anything, you see the little chuckling chortle back there is from the NAACP president who can't ever shut up in a public hearing when other people are talking. This is what I'm talking about.
He's rude and you need
Here
to
we go again. See,
All right,
He's rude.
all right, everybody, we're going to have a respectful meeting, or I will end it. No comments from the audience.
So,
Please direct your
again,
question towards us.
What I was trying to
Mr. Smith,
say
thank you.
before that happened. Everybody feels that they're not being heard. The thing that the lady who just spoke talked about power being removed from the voters. We're not asking you to remove power from the voters. We're asking you to remove power from the parties. A May election is no less or no more unfair than a November one. And to say that minorities can't turn out for a May election, they have calendars. We put out the notices. They can show up. It doesn't remove anybody's ability to vote. It does not remove anybody's ability to make a choice for a candidate. Okay? Who is one of the Democratic heroes? The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. John F. Kennedy. You have voters on both sides of the aisle that are extremely ignorant to the actual candidates and the views due to the fact that if they see an R or a D, they know what they're supposed to do. That's not how you should elect anybody. And you asked somebody else that at the last hearing. Do you think statewide office should be nonpartisan? Absolutely. I don't need you getting a free ride because the Democratic Party put out marketing material for you and did this for you and did that for you. I want every candidate who is going to hold public office and be responsible for public funds and be responsible for public policy to actually have to earn the job. Not just go have dinner with Sammy Baker, who's the chairman of the Republican Party, get his endorsement, and then suddenly he's the guy. Why should our elected representatives happen that way? Now, when it comes to education, we all want what we think is best for our kids. This woman right here, and I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't get your name, but she is perfectly happy with the way the board is operating right now. And that's great for her. And if she likes the candidates that are there, she can vote for them again when there is no longer a D next to their name. Just like I can vote for the people I now vote for once the R comes off. And maybe there's a better candidate who has neither that's not there yet. Taking away the partisan elections would force voters to actually learn these issues. And everybody in this room, if they're being intellectually honest, will tell you that they're all ignorant voters in one way or another. Most people don't know who the hell's on the school board until it went the way they didn't want. And in the past, when people weren't happy with the other composition of 5 white folks, one of which was a Democrat, somebody said y'all didn't have one, you did. When they didn't like those, they didn't know who they were either. They just knew they were Republicans, so they must be bad. What we're trying to get back to is true representation, true voices who have to tell us up front ahead of an election exactly what they stand for. Because if I knew what they stood for, I might not give them my vote anymore. That's all we're asking for here. This has become a 2-hour diatribe of people talking about white supremacy and supposed racism and all these other things. We're just asking for free, fair elections with candidates who don't have the backing of 2 giant political parties. We want people who have to say, hi, my name is Steve Smith. I want to represent your district to help your children on the school board, and this is why. You also mentioned last time, let them do their jobs. And if they don't, vote them out. That's 3 years from now. My son's in 3rd grade. He will be in 6th. Detrimental politics, I don't have 3 years to waste. If the pilot was drunk on my airplane, I'm not waiting for him to sober up to fix the plane crash. I want an immediate fix. And that's what we're asking for here. Chairman Blair talked about lame duck status. He's a lame duck. He's already mentioned he's not running for re-election. So he can sit there for a year and do whatever he wants. There will be no voters to hold him responsible in a year. We want people who are going to take care of our kids and take care of our system. That's all we're asking.
Thank you for your comments. Any comments or questions for the speaker?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It appears that most of your questions have been addressed to me, so thank you for giving us the opportunity to respond.
Sure.
Is it true, sir, that about 25% of the voters in Georgia don't identify themselves as a Republican nor a Democrat, and they truly go into a polling place to vote for a candidate they identify with?
Well, according to polls, that's what they say. Technically in Georgia, you don't register as a Democrat or Republican to vote. But according to whatever poll is taken, they say roughly 25% are independent or quote-unquote moderate voters.
Right. Independent moderate
Right.
voters. They don't identify with a candidate, whether they're a Republican or Democrat. That seems to be the truth. Second question, sir, but what we're ultimately concerned with is the quality of education for our children. And I also believe it's to be true that the school board members don't have any direct interaction with teachers.
Well,
That's handed by the superintendent.
that's how it's supposed to be done. We've had somebody mentioned the COG review. We've had board members that have usurped what their responsibility is and gone to teachers for things. There is a path for that, but our board is set up where they enact policy and procedure. And policy and procedure then falls under that plan of education. If they put in new policies and procedures that change the way our kids are supposed to be educated by these teachers, it then most certainly affects their education.
Yeah, I believe that, but is it true, sir, that teachers, that if they are threatened or ridiculed by a school board member, they can take legal action? And most teachers feel comfortable working in a system where the school board members don't have any direct control over their actions.
I feel 100% accurate with that. That's true
No.
in most school systems.
Thank you, sir.
And I did want to make one other point. We brought up the fact there's 101 districts that are nonpartisan, and there's 71 or 109, whatever the numbers are. And I know some people have been asking, well, why do you have a problem with this? My question is, why do you not? You understand the politics and all these different things. Look at the room. So why, if we can go a neutral system, why would you have a problem with that? That's all I want to know.
Thank you for your comments.
Can I speak? I was three sides.
Yeah, if you can keep it to 3 minutes, we're running up on, we're actually 3 minutes over. This will be the last speaker for today.
Okay, I wasn't even prepared.
To speak also.
We will not take comments from the audience.
It's not a comment, I was not, the board was not passed around, and I did not get the opportunity to sign. The board, say, wait a minute, these people are speaking.
Ma'am, will you sit down? I'm about to end the meeting. We're actually over our time limit for tonight. All right, with that, with all due respect.
I request to have my voice heard in this room. If you had given proper notice, if you had an agenda, if you had let people know that they had to sign up, I would have done all those things. But because this meeting and this does not have an agenda, does not have what the policies are, I am requesting.
You are not speaking. This meeting
I am
is adjourned.
requesting to speak.
This meeting is adjourned.
And that's
It's been
why-
published for 2 weeks.
And that's why
This is very
we
disrespectful. This
need
meeting's over. I'm sorry for this.
everything